Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Monday edition of Proline Daily, the longest-running sports handicapping show in America, coming to you direct from Las Vegas. We're going to talk about an NBA matchup and a Major League Baseball matchup tonight. Jim, good weekend for you continues, or good results for you, continues 2-0 in the NBA on Thursday with Utah and Washington. Nothing on Friday, and then a 2-0 again Sunday with the Cavaliers and the Wizards. So 107-65 in the NBA. And those games are available on the website right now. And what do you got tonight?
Well, like you said, everything's available on the website, Dave. And thank you for mentioning my record. It's been a great run. Amazing in the NBA. It's almost like no game is close. It's a blowout one way or the other. And fortunately, we've seen that coming, and we've been on the right side of it. We have a 3-pack of Major League Baseball tonight. Just go to my website, jimfeist.com. Everything is available right there.
And I'm also I've only got one play tonight. It's a baseball game. The line has already moved on this game, but it is one of the late matchups, and we'll call it a late game bailout if you want. But hopefully you won't have to be bailing out, which is just an expression we use. But in any case, it's only $15, and that's the only game I've got tonight. And things have been really good lately. It's just been a terrific run for me in baseball over the past couple of weeks. About the only thing that went wrong for me last week was I lost my golf play, which is okay. I'm looking for a price each week in the PGA, and we're way ahead for the year on the golf. And as always, I lost the Kentucky Derby. So I don't. If you want a horse that's not good, funny thing is I've done well in the Preakness and Belmont, but the Derby has not been a good race for me. I still enjoyed it. The basketball was very good last week. I adapted a strategy that worked out beautifully in taking first quarter and first halves of the teams that were in must-win situations. That paid off, and the baseball's been running terrific. So hopefully that will continue tonight, and you can get that game right now, $15. At jimfeist.com. So let's talk a little bit about two games tonight, and we'll start with the NBA matchup between the Warriors and the Jazz. Jim, the series is over. So, realistically, Utah, the most they could do would maybe be steal tonight's game and then get knocked out back at Oracle. The odds makers don't think that's going to happen, as they've made Golden State a big favorite for this game. They've priced it where I think it's really difficult to make a play on the game. And in fact, I suppose if I were going to play it, I might take the Jazz plus all those points. I mean, that's a lot of points, and they are pro basketball players. I did not play the game, but my strategy here probably would be the same as it was in the Game 3 setup, which would be to focus on the first half, because whatever effort you're going to get out of Utah is going to show up early.
Well, you're right, and I agree with you. The problem is these teams that are, I think we basically could skip all the games and just go right to a Cleveland Golden State matchup and go right there, because in the East we have very flawed teams, and you can see by these scores, the blowouts, one way or the other in all these games are ridiculous. And these clubs are not providing good TV. There very rarely is a game that close where it comes down to the end. Now, the last Golden State-Utah game, unfortunately, that was one of my very few losers. I had the dog, and they were in it. They were in it late. But there's a gear that Golden State and Cleveland both have, and these other teams just can't keep up with it. When they hit that gear, you just can't stay in. You can't get out of their way. I mean, they're just going to do what they want to do.
Yep.
And they end up winning by 10, 11, whatever it is, and covering numbers. But this kind of a game, the number's high. There's no way that I'm going to put myself in harm's way here and put money or advise to anybody to put money on Utah.
No, I'm the same way. I toyed with the idea of giving him a first half bet, but I already did that in Game 3, and I got my money. And you know what? I'm going to keep my money from that game.
I think that's a smart idea.
I know it.
They are human beings. They have lives. They have children. They got They got vacation to look forward to. It's been a long year. Now, if there's a certain breed of person that's going to say, the hell with it, we're going to go out there and beat these guys and go down to Golden State and play another game and come back and do that. And there is that type of person. But
oh, sure.
These are high-paid people with a lot of money, and they live a very high life. And when they get down if they get down 15 in this game and it's in the third quarter, you can just chalk it up. Forget about it. They're not going to fight back. And we have seen that repeatedly when teams are down 0-3 in these, and this goes back years. They don't win. They don't. And they rarely cover. It's gotten a little bit better because the odds makers have made the number like this one high, so they will come back and get to about 50-50. But for a lot of years, it's been the team that's up 3-0 wins the game, and they do cover. Now, granted, this game should not be 8. It should probably be 5 or 6. But that's what the odds makers are doing, and they're plugging it in. But I'm not going to take value in a team that might actually just quit and have their reservations for golf and vacations already to Cabo planned. So I'm not going to do that.
Let's talk some baseball. We have an unusual situation tonight, as we had two teams play 18 innings last night in the late game, in the cold weather. It was not a pleasant night at Wrigley Field. And now the Yankees and Cubs both go on the road for Monday night games. Let's talk about the Cubs. And here's something interesting. I know Tanaka was not with the Yankees. He had already flown to Cincinnati. And that has a lot to do with the, to me, looking at the matchup, because Tanaka's going to be in his normal situation. And there's, the key guys are always the starting pitchers. I think Arrieta was in the dugout last night, if I'm not mistaken. That's a different situation. And the Cubs are also going into altitude. This is a really fascinating game between the Cubs and Rockies. The Rockies 20-12 so far, which I don't think a lot of people thought they would be at this point of the season. They've been a very pleasant early season surprise. The Cubs are only 16-14, and everybody's waiting for them to hit that next gear and start playing like the championship team they were last year. But right now, they're not a particularly sharp baseball team. They just ended a so-so 7-game homestand. The offense has been okay. The pitching actually hasn't been okay. Jim, they're a very average pitching staff right now, which is, I think, got to be a little bit worrisome. And one of those average pitchers has been Jake Arrieta.
Well, let's think about this a little bit. We have to, when we're handicapping, it's not all about numbers. And I know sabermetrics and all that stuff, and it's all great, ERAs and whips, and then you get into the more elaborate new stuff that's out there. That's all great. But let's look at the facts of life. These are human beings and human conditions, and they played 18 innings last night. And yes, the pitcher went on the road first, and he was there, so he didn't have. But in Arrieta's case, like you said, he didn't go a day early. He was there. Now, that means 18 innings is 2 games. They played 2 games. Then got on an airplane and flew to a new city. Have to check into a hotel, find a way to get some sleep and some food, and then go play another baseball game against a team that's actually playing pretty good.
They sure are.
And look at this kid that's going to be pitching. His record in his starts is 4-1. The team is 5-1 in his starts. He's only lost 1 game, and that was at home against Washington, where he pitched 6 innings, gave up 4 earned runs. But for the most part, he's been going 6 or 7, and not pitching too badly. And so, I'm giving away a play here. But at 4:30 this morning, of course, I bet, a lot all night. I'm constantly awake. I never sleep. But I played Cincinnati, or not Cincinnati, but Colorado here much earlier. But I took a nice dog price, and I'm surprised the marketplace is still holding this price where it is. The Colorado Rockies are the right team in this game, folks. And if I lose the bet, I'll be happy to pay, because I have the right side. I have advantages in every situation when I'm talking about human conditions and human emotions and physical tiredness and fatigue and all that. It's all on my side. So I'm on the Rockies.
You know what's interesting is, and I expected some line movement in this game, and yet it actually, I think it's dropped 1 cent from the opener at Pinnacle. So basically, it went from 130 to 129. And I'm just using Pinnacle because it's a very reliable book and they have sharp numbers. I thought there'd be more play from sharp bettors. But I think one thing that we might be seeing here is that people, and I do think this is the case, people are afraid, even though the Cubs aren't playing well, bettors are still afraid to go against the Cubs because, the potential is there for them to break out and win 6 in a row at any time. And I don't disagree with that. But the fact is, they're barely over 500 right now through the first 20% roughly of the season. They're having a little bit of a World Series hangover. And I know what the potential is, but I deal in reality more than potential. I didn't play the game, but I got to tell you something. The only side I would consider would be the Rockies. So we're in agreement on that one, Jim.
It took 108 years for the Chicago Cubs to win a World Series. And it's not going to take 108 years for them to wake up and start playing baseball. But
they're going to get hot at some point.
It easily could take half a season to wake up and start playing baseball. I mean, all these guys had a lot of celebration.
Yep.
They didn't have the normal off season, and the hunger is a little bit gone. So back to human emotions, which I use a lot in my handicap, is trying to read where their head's at. It definitely, like I said, I'm on the Rockies, and I'm happy to be there.
Now, we have free plays every day, and you can get those on a recorded message. Toll-free number to call is 888-294-1970.
And you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Jim Feist Sports. NBA Showdown now at jimfeist.com. Plus free plays daily. Just text GAME, G-A-M-E, to 25827.
And we will come back and do this again tomorrow. We'll look at a couple more games. One of the things we're going to be doing moving forward is we're going to really focus on 1 or 2 games every day and hope to get you some plays when you tune in to watch the show. So make sure and bookmark us and check in every day. Jim, good talking to you, and we'll do it again tomorrow.
Thank you, Dave.